Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Brian Fisher's my name. Program Focal Point Network is AFR Talk. Welcome aboard the USS Focal Point. This is a working boat. This is not a pleasure cruise. We are patrolling the choppy waters of America's public life, looking for the coordinates where truth intersects with politics. Our commander is on the bridge. The scriptures, our nautical charts, the spirit, our navigator. I serve as your loyal, humble, and cheerful first mate. Alex McFarland tried to promote me to admiral yesterday. I checked with the commander. He said, nope, got to bust you back to first mate. Got to keep you right where you're at. So that's what I'm doing today, being the loyal, humble, and cheerful first mate aboard the USS Focal Point. Now, this is something that I just read late this morning, that jobless claims have spiked to a 4-month high. Remember, last week, the Obama administration making a huge deal about how the jobless claims was down. In fact, it was down by 26,000. And then I brought you the real information, the raw numbers. It was actually up by 25,000. They've got this magical something or other, this seasonal adjustment thing they do, which magically made all of these extra jobless claims disappear and go away and turned the thing around by 50,000. I mean, that is some kind of serious seasonal adjustment. And so they made it look like seasonally adjusted, made it look like unemployment claims had actually dropped. They hadn't. They'd gone up by 25,000. Those are the raw numbers before you start fooling around with them. And they admitted we have one state that hasn't even reported in. That's probably California, although they would admit it. That's probably 30,000 jobless claims right there. So the fact is that maybe last week, jobless claims, the raw numbers, may actually have been up 60,000 rather than dropping by 25,000. But the ministers of propaganda in the mainstream media, totally in the tank for Obama. Now, they're getting desperate now because we are in the stretch run here. They know this thing is getting away from them. It is getting away from Obama. They do not want to know what to do. We're going to see more panic from them as we get closer to November 6th. But the unemployment, the claims, weekly applications for unemployment claims jumped to 388,000, and that is seasonally adjusted. That's even after they got done monkeying with the numbers. It's still at a 4-month high. So I have no idea if you go back there and look at the raw numbers. This may be way, way worse even than what we are being told, because they mask a lot of that, because this is seasonally adjusted. So my guess is the numbers may be, the raw numbers may be up over 400,000. We may find that out at some point. Raw numbers may be up over 400,000, which, I mean, you start talking about recession territory when you get up over 400,000, and our GDP is going at 1.3%. There's no way that you can pull out with that kind of trend line, and there's not enough time. There's no way to finesse that number between now and November 6th. It can't be done. There's just not enough time to nuance that thing or to finesse that thing and to make that thing look anything other than what it is, a truly, truly ugly number and bad for Barack Obama. Now, we spent some time yesterday, walking through the lies that Barack Obama told in the debate. One of them is he said that, if you remember, he said that we've got to keep funding Planned Parenthood because so many women rely on Planned Parenthood for mammograms. And we said, no, that's a bald-faced lie. I've got a story here from CNS News. The Alliance Defense Fund, well, first of all, CNS News checked with Health and Human Services. They checked with Kathleen Sebelius' outfit. And Kathleen Sebelius, Health and Human Services, they said, look, there is not a single mammography machine in any Planned Parenthood clinic in the country. That's the Department of Health and Human Services saying that. There's not a mammography machine in any Planned Parenthood facility anywhere in the United States of America. The Alliance Defense Fund, or actually the Alliance Defending Freedom, ADF, they put in a FOIA request, Freedom of Information request, with the Food and Drug Administration, because they're the ones that have to license the mammography machines. That's all done under the FDA. Why we need a government agency to do that is beyond me. But anyway, that's what the FDA does. And so ADF said, okay, we want to get, you're a public agency. We're paying your salaries. The information that you have is something that should be available to the public, but they got to put in a FOIA request to get it, and they got it back. And their request was for all currently active certificates to operate a mammography facility issued by the FDA or by any state to Planned Parenthood. So FDA's got this big giant file cabinet, and it has all of the active certificates that have been issued to any facility, any place in the United States to do mammograms. And the FDA came back and said, our search did not uncover any documents pertinent to your request. In other words, we have no certificates. There are no currently active certificates that indicate that any Planned Parenthood facility in the United States of America does mammograms. Now, it's interesting. National Review Online, this is clip one, Rob. National Review Online, one of their staff members decided to make some calls. Yesterday, after the debate. This is brand new, fresh information. And we're going to start with this soundbite by playing you the clip so you hear President Obama say in his own words, we have got to keep funding Planned Parenthood because so many women depend on Planned Parenthood for mammograms. And then you are going to hear several of her phone calls to Planned Parenthood facilities, making it very clear that President Obama was lying to the American people. Do not let him lie to you. Let's listen.
When Governor Romney says that we should eliminate funding for Planned Parenthood, there are millions of women all across the country who rely on Planned Parenthood for not just contraceptive care, they rely on it for mammograms, for cervical cancer screenings. That's a pocketbook issue for women and families all across the country.
Planned Parenthood, Sonia speaking. May I help you?
Hi, I was looking to schedule a mammogram.
Oh, you said a mammogram?
Yeah.
We don't do that.
Is there any way you could help me schedule one?
You can call the Ralph Lauren Center and see where they can recommend you to.
Okay, I was confused because I was watching President Obama last night, and he said that a lot of people rely on Planned Parenthood for mammograms.
We don't do it.
You don't do it?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your help. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you for calling Planned Parenthood. This is the baby speaking. How can I help you?
Hi, I was looking to schedule a mammogram.
We actually don't offer that here.
Is there advice on how I may schedule one?
You might want to call 311. They have listings of places that you could go to.
Okay, I was confused because I was listening to the presidential debate last night, and I heard the president say that a lot of people rely on Planned Parenthood for mammograms.
Well, if you could come in like for a routine checkup here, and they could refer you somewhere if that's something that you're looking to have.
But you don't provide them like the president said?
No.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, Planned Parenthood. This is Samantha speaking. How may I help you?
Hi, I was looking to schedule a mammogram.
We don't do mammograms, but I could definitely give you other places you could call.
I'm confused because I heard the president say yesterday that a lot of people rely on Planned Parenthood to get mammograms.
A lot of, I'm not even sure because we've never offered mammograms.
We have never offered mammograms. And the reason I played that extensive soundbite for you, I wanted you to hear multiple Planned Parenthood facilities saying, no, we don't offer mammograms here. We don't even know where you can get them. I can give you a number to call where you can find out where somebody can do a mammogram. So clearly, President Obama just making stuff up on the fly, telling a bald-faced lie. And that's the reason, as you mentioned, Susan G. Komen, that's right, temporarily, they stopped funding Planned Parenthood because they're all about detecting breast cancer. They think that early mammograms or early detection through mammograms is a key part of that. And they're saying, why are we sending money to Planned Parenthood? They don't even do mammograms. They just take our money and then they spend it on salaries for people who answer phones and tell people we don't do mammograms. And here's where you need to go to get a mammogram. They said, listen, let's just give the money straight to the people that are doing the actual mammograms, until they ran into the buzzsaw of political correctness. Now, let's grab clip number 2. Here is Chris Matthews talking about the issue of the sanctity of life. And, you know, we believe this is not a religious issue. It is a religious issue, but it's not exclusively a religious issue for us. You know, Paul Ryan explained this is also about biology, and it's also about genetics. We know that when an egg is fertilized, when a sperm unites with an ovum, you have a human being. That is a human being at its earliest stage of development. Here's what Chris Matthews thinks, ignoring science, not just religion, but science, biology, and genetics.
I think it's the hottest issue that's not been exploited, and I use that positively, exploited. I don't know how this president can't bring it up tonight, because there's a Grand Canyon of difference between Obama, who's very pro-choice, and, for example, the Republican ticket this year, which would give 14th Amendment rights, whatever that means, life, liberty, and property rights, to a fetus that had just been, an egg that has just been fertilized, right after sex, if you will. And to have that notion that that would be a person under this personhood thing that Ryan's pushing, and under the 14th Amendment rights, that the platform that Romney's running on, this is extremism. As I said earlier tonight, it's almost like Sharia. You're saying to the country, we're going to operate under a religious theory, a religious belief. We're going to run our country this way, to the point of making a woman's decision to have an abortion, her reproductive rights, as criminal, perhaps murderous.
So that's Chris Matthews just going hysterical that this is Sharia law. This is not Sharia law. This is a Judeo-Christian worldview of human life, that God is the one who is shaping and molding a human being together, a baby in his mother's womb. We don't need to just now take the word of Scripture for it. We've got biology. We've got genetics to back us up. We have medical science to back us up. We know how this process works. We've seen it happen. We have been able to film the process of fertilization. We can film the progress of a baby at every stage of development. We know that's a science, nothing to do with Sharia law. And notice, Chris Matthews said there is a Grand Canyon difference between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney on the sanctity of life. A Grand Canyon's worth of difference. Focal Point, AFR Talk.